Okay, my number 3.
Yeah.
And this will come as a surprise again. I feel like I've made a real shift this year towards lyricism. You know what I mean? But it's Benny the Butcher of Griselda, Burden of Proof. Love it. Go back to it a million times. So good. If you go to the track list, Burden of Proof, right off the bat, fantastic. Sly Green, my favorite track off the album. Where Would I Go featuring Rick Ross. Timeless featuring Lil Wayne and Big Sean. And this is what I'm talking about, right? This is what I'm talking about. Don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing Benny the Butcher to 2 Chainz, but Benny got some fantastic features on this. Rick Ross, Freddie Gibbs, Lil Wayne, Big Sean. And then of course he's got Griselda.
Dude, Big Sean was on so many albums second half of the year.
Of course he's got Griselda backing him. So he's got a track with Conway the Machine and West Side Gun. This album was just lyrically like right there with the best of them. And the production was amazing. Really, I'm a fan. Out of the Griselda group, for me, it goes Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine, which Conway's albums, he had From a King to a God and Lulu. Lulu was my favorite, and then I'm not a big West Side Gun fan, but Benny the Butcher, dude, he is elite. I really like him. Really like him.
He's nailed the sound. Gotta love that upstate New York City sound.
Hell yeah.
The 2 songs I saved off the album, and I'll probably go back and listen to it again, but I saved Famous. I really like the instrumental. It's got like really good sampling throughout the album. And end of the first verse, he goes, I remember doing stick-ups for less than $100. Now we don't get dressed for less than 100,000. I love those kind of lines.
Gangster talk, you know? I love that. This is interesting. I'm looking at his Wikipedia page real quick. He's only got 2 studio albums, one from 2018 and one from this year, 2020, Burden of Proof. Before that, his rap career started in 2004. Between 2004 and 2018, he dropped almost 20 mixtapes. Total underground.
Incredible. What a come up.
I don't know where you would listen to those. I don't know where you would find them, but I'd love to listen to one of the older ones. Yeah.
Right.
Really good stuff.
I think in Warpaint, it's very reflective. Like he kind of talks about like little snippets of his life and these moments where he's kind of just reflecting on how his life's changed and really important things that have happened, stuff like that. It's really cool. Really good lyricism on it.
My favorite line off the whole album is, I'm a Christian Dior shirt rocker, 2 Glock wearer, only rapper that would have thrived in the Tupac era.
Oh yeah, I remember that line, dude. That was one of the best lines on the album, no question.
Stop it.
The Tupac era. Oh, he took him back to the Tupac era.
Stop it, dude. Oh my God. That was gas.
What are you going to say to that? What are you going to say after that?
Every time I listen to that, I'm like, oh, I'm talking 98 Drug Money, Shoebox era. Oh, just stupid. I love that line.
Just sunning these kids.
Yeah.
No
all
doubt.
right. Let's move past that. Number 2.
Word up. Number two. One of our overlaps. One of our 2 overlaps, I guess. The New Toronto 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add to that.
Mine is, and I mean, probably MVP for the year in most eyes is Lil Baby. And, you know, there was a feature king last year, but I forget who it was.
It wasn't the Baby, was it?
Maybe, yeah. And no, oh yeah, the Baby was definitely the MVP of 2019.
He had mad features, especially with he had pop artist features. He was everywhere.
Yeah, it went from Da Baby to Lil Baby. Lil Baby this year, he dropped My Turn. We don't even really need to go into the tracks. I'll mention a few of them just for ha-has. Heating Up was definitely a standout. Live Off My Closet. Whoa.
That might be my favorite, or that's my second favorite after Whoa. Live Off My Closet. All In was one of my favorites. I love when he says, I'm courtside at the Knicks. I don't even know no players. Whenever he says stuff like that, I just... Oh, dude, my quotable, I don't think I mentioned it in the episode where we talked about
it's the one with the car start, right?
Oh, I can't get enough of that line, man.
What is it exactly?
I spent 500 racks on a Lambo and didn't even know how to make that motherfucker go.
Oh, really good. I mean, he has an MVP year. Lil Baby MVP, like 2020. Give it to him, you know?
Gave it to him.
Killed it.
Double platinum, Apple Music, Artist of the Year. He's gotten a lot of recognition. He deserves it.
Just for ha-has, right? I'm going to go into my 2020 rap, and if you search an artist, it'll also highlight the features. I saved 1, 2, 3, also another 10 tracks where he featured on, in addition to his at least 15 of his solo releases too. So
that's so much content. And this is coming from somebody that just a couple of years ago said that he didn't even want to be a rapper. Like, he's one of these guys that's so street. He was like, I would rather just stay on the streets. He was like, music industry is not for me. But then he really pivoted in the past year, and he really came to focus on music. But you can just feel that cold street energy that's still in him. You know what I'm saying?
The guys who can just spit content after content after content.
Right.
It's just really, that's what I think is so incredible. When he's rapping, it's like, he's just got so much to say. I think that goes so far.
Dude, it's a 20-track album. That's even before the deluxe version. It's a 20-track album.
How do you have so much to say? It's just so cool, you know?
For someone that didn't even want to be. I mean, maybe that's why. Maybe it's because he didn't force himself to make music for so long, and then he just had a lot of experience to draw on.
Yeah, but listen to me, and I'm not trying to knock this person, okay? Because you know I have respect based off of your opinion for them, and you know, from the releases that I have heard from this one person.
Mm-hmm.
But look at a guy like, don't hate me, but look at a guy like Jaron Benton, right? I respect him. I have a lot of respect for him, but right?
Yeah.
It's almost like the guy doesn't have enough to say. Where is the content? Where are the songs? You compare that next to a guy like Lil Baby, right? The guy just spits line after line after line after line. He's like a machine gun of bars.
Well, I would argue that.
Where are these artists, you know?
I think it's hard to compare the two of them, dude. I dispute that. I think Jaron Benton's lyricism is on a whole different level than Lil Baby's.
But if you don't have anything to say, what is it worth?
He drops at least one album a year or a project a year.
Yeah. Also, I just respect the guys who can put together, like, you know, album after album. That's just so sick. All right, dude.
But adding to my turn, I mean, I know we touched upon it earlier in the year, but it was so early, like we hadn't spent much time with it. I saved Commercial with Lil Uzi Vert, Forever with Lil Wayne, really epic beat on Forever. Definitely felt a little bit more like a Wayne track, but I think those two are a really good combo. No Sucker, big fan of No Sucker with Moneybagg Yo. He dropped an album this year too that had some pretty dope tracks on it, but not, you know, on this tier. But Moneybagg Yo's got a really dope sound to him.
He does.
Yeah. And then I even came around to, I don't think it's on this album. I think it was his previous album. His other collab with 42 Doug had
Paid.
A lot of tracks. Yeah, we paid. At first, I didn't like the song at all. It really grew on me.
Yeah.
I think it's
all right, dude. Numero uno.
Well, we're actually just talking about it. My number one is My Turn.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. I kept that.
Rightfully so.
Right, rightfully so. I never actually changed it, I don't think, at any point. It might have been ADHD.
Point. As soon as it came out, it was number one.
Dude, I just remember going on this bike ride, listening to My Turn, and I was like, dude, it's all fire. And granted, like, it kind of falls off the last few tracks, like the last third of the album. After No Sucker, it's kind of downhill, not gonna lie. But the first 12 tracks, I mean, you can listen to that without skipping any, and it's an experience, and it's a combination of really dope production, amazing just sonic appeal, and bars, just straight up bars.
Yeah, that's so sick.
Which car I'm gonna drive, it depends on the weather.
All right. And like I said, I give him MVP for sure. But my number one for the year, I've alluded to it in past episodes, but it's Pop Smoke. I really wonder, and I've thought about this a few times, this year specifically, I think every rap fan at some point in their fandom, needs to choose whether or not they're West Coast or East Coast,
Yeah.
And I'm
it's a good topic of conversation.
I'm 100% East Coast, man.
Really?
This year particularly.
This year in particular, yeah.
This year particularly, I have fallen in love with New York rap, the New York scene, past and present. I'm so sad that, R.I.P. Pop Smoke, he put together a fantastic body of work here. I'm just going to rattle off some of the songs that I really love. For the Night featuring Lil Baby and DaBaby, Gangstas, The Woo featuring 50 Cent and Roddy Ricch, West Coast featuring Tyga and Quavo, Mood Swings featuring Lil TJ, What You Know About Love, Got It On Me, Dior, Showing Off featuring Fabio Foreign, Backseat featuring PNB Rock, Hello featuring A Boogie with a Hoodie.
So many.
Enjoy Yourself. Also, Hello. So many good songs. I go back to these songs time and time again. You know how I had mentioned earlier how much the club scene and how much the party scene has an influence on what songs are hot, We didn't get that this year. But I felt like my inner circle, the people who I surround myself with, really loved Pop Smoke's music, loved his album. And it might be our proximity, coming from Massachusetts, our proximity to New York, maybe, I don't know. But I feel like it just spread in this area. It was just a huge influence. I've been following a lot of New York influencers in general, New York Nico, Side Talk NYC, these guys who are, documenting present day New York, and they love Pop Smoke, man. They love him. And I love his music.
Told you, I was in New York in October. I swear to God, in one day, I passed by at least 3 people bumping Pop Smoke, probably on the same street. Like, it was, I heard a lot of Pop Smoke.
And his sound is unlike anybody else's,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the 50 Cent comparisons, of course, but it's just even different from that.
Right. It's like I mentioned in one of our episodes about how Dr. Dre loves working with people with unique voices. I think Dre would have loved to do a project with Pop Smoke if Dre was more involved in the scene right now, because the guy's voice is super unique.
The guys who curated this album, because he died in February and this album didn't come out till July. The people who mixed, mastered, and got the features for this album, round of applause for that team. Round of applause for that team. And it shows you the respect that he commanded as an artist, even with only releasing one album prior. He had a huge, he had the respect of his peers,
Yeah.
in a short amount of time. And that's why he had all those features on there.
Yeah, it's like I sent you a picture about somebody commenting on how the guy was going to change the game. Like, he was so young and he already had so much influence and respect. My picks for songs that I thought were big highlights: 44 Bulldog. I think some people say that Pop Smoke and Fabio Foreign, if I'm not mistaken, have, if it's not their genre, they're heavily influenced by it. Grime, like UK grime, right?
Yeah.
And I hear that in the instrumental of 44 Bulldog. I hear the 50 Cent sound in the track Gangstas. Make It Rain. I guess it's more typical kind of Pop Smoke, just hardcore. I guess a little bit of the grime influence too. And then Got It On Me might be my favorite track on the album. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got it on me.
So
got it on. The instrumental's got that epic orchestra. No orchestra.
Yeah. Orchestra. Yeah.
We call the people that are singing, like literally the voices. A choir. Yeah. It's got the choir in the background. You can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong. A legend in his own right. That's pretty epic.
100%. At that age, to be a legend of New York, of all places.
Dude, we only had 3 of the same albums on our list. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about you.
No, I love
that.
I wouldn't want to be sitting here being like, oh, yeah, I agree.
I think that's a sign that it was a great year for hip hop. I really do. That's a sign.
Yeah, I would say so. Meaning there's a diverse array of albums that can appeal to different types of people. and each one of them had great products.
That's so sick. That's the best outcome that you could possibly have, you know? All right, man, we are pretty deep into this. I don't have a lot more to say. I know that you have a lot to say, and I can definitely provide commentary. I'd love to provide commentary. You listen to, in our Spotify wrap up, you listen to like 3 times as much music than I did. So
I almost forgot about that.
So that you have more to talk about than I do.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think I should just kind of shoot through it. I really don't want to spend much more time talking, but I noted so much that I'd feel bad leaving stuff out. Yeah. So I think I'll drop. Can I do 10 honorable mentions? Just listing them.
Go for it.
And then a few albums that I thought were good, but too focused on lyricism and not enough on music. Then maybe 5 albums that I thought were bad, which is terrible. I think it's funny to mention.
Yeah.
And then 5 to 10 albums that were not rap. And I'm talking literally just listing them.
Let's hear it.
Cool. So honorable mentions. So this would be like my 11 on Funeral, Free Weezy album, Carter 5 Deluxe, Lil Wayne. Touched upon that. No Pressure by Logic. We've talked about that. The Libra, T.I. That was a Q4 drop. Didn't get to talk about it. I know you're not like the biggest T.I. fan. I'm a huge fan of T.I. And I thought the Libra was the first T.I. album I've heard in a long time that I really liked. Trouble Man might have been the last album by T.I. that I really enjoyed.
Trouble Man was a good album.
I definitely like the Libra more than T.I.'s latest releases. I saved Hit Dogs Holla, Pardon, my favorite song on the album, and Half Ticket, featuring London J and Conway the Machine. Music to be Murdered By, plus B-side, Eminem. Chatted about that on the first episode. Eminem is still my favorite rapper, but as far as Eminem albums, you know, I've said that this isn't the top half of his discography. It's definitely the bottom half.
Real quick, what do you think of the Snoop beef?
It's sad, dude. I think it's sad. It literally makes me sad.
I sense a lot of tension. Like, I sense serious tension.
I don't like
the makings of a rap beef.
I don't like
really
that at
do.
all.
Dude, come on.
I don't like that.
I pretty much said I don't want to listen to his. I don't want to. I could throw away his entire career. It wouldn't make a difference to me. That's what Snoop said.
That's so disrespectful. Yeah.
So you're telling me Eminem, the guy who, it doesn't matter if you look at him funny across the street, he's gonna mention you in a song. You know.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Snoop has got.
That's a good way to put it.
He's got shit coming for him.
Funny. Oh yeah, Eminem. I respect that. Eminem hasn't lost that touch of his battle rap tendencies, even if it's subtle. I mean, it's usually not. It's usually just straight out. He's just gonna diss you. It's awesome. Yeah. But it's sad because I liked their I think it's only one track they've been on together. But on the Marshall Mathers LP back in 2000, they were on Bitch Please too, which I thought was such a good album. The B-side came out in the past quarter. I enjoyed it. I know you didn't like it so much, but there were some tracks that I thought he stepped out of the box that he's been in, I think, the past couple of years, and got a little bit more into like the fun creative side. But yeah, I still think it's a worthwhile honorable mention. Queen of the South, Mulatto. I really liked that album. I think I had it higher originally, but I had to put some more albums up there. Big fan of Queen of the South. The GOAT by Polo G, Mr. Hood, Ace Hood, Shoot for Stars, Aim for the Moon, which we just talked about. And finally, I think, last thing worth mentioning, Top Shotta by NLE Choppa. I really liked a lot of tracks that NLE Choppa dropped. I especially think his music videos are super fun. Just really gets you hyped. Just like really fun street music. So I hope he prospers. I know he's going in a weird direction now, but I hope he prospers. I think one more mention is Recession 2 by Jeezy. I don't think it met my expectations, but I think it's a really solid Jeezy album, and I think he's one of the best rappers of the past 2 decades, of the century. I think he's one of the best. So I respect him, and he had a lot of great tracks on it, but I don't think it met expectations I had just based on some some singles he's dropped in the past few years. Then going on really quick, albums I thought were good, but didn't hold up because I don't think they focused enough on the sound or the music. All of Khan's albums were this guy's a monster, lyrical machine, Blissful Awareness, Lost in Translation, All Praises Due, 29, super cool vibes, good like background music or good music to listen to and focus on the lyricism, but I don't think it's music that you want to like hear as like a project, as like an art piece. I couldn't call it that. Same for All My Heroes Are Dead. R.A. the Rugged Man. Honestly, might be the best album of the year lyrically. I might call that album of the year lyricism wise. Like just reading the lyrics, amazing. And the guy's incredible. He's been doing this for like 3 decades almost. But I never really went back to it because I don't think it has a sonic appeal. And then I might add SOS by John Connor. Really great lyricism. But I never.
Yeah, I that was the one out of those 3 that I listened to, and I saved a few songs and then I got rid of them because
I know
it wasn't enough to go back to.
Exactly. It doesn't draw you back. And then albums that sucked, I thought were just kind of trash.
I love these.
And you'll agree with this. Childish Gambino's garbage. It's like not even a rap album.
He dropped an album?
And the album name was the release date.
Oh my God.
It was trash. Artist 2.0, A Boogie. I just got so sick of A Boogie's sound.
So garbage. Bad.
This one you won't agree with me, but High Off Life by Future. I thought that album was so bad. And I've never been a Future fan, so
yeah,
I didn't expect to like it. But I listened to the whole thing, and the whole time I was just like, I can't wait for this to end. I thought it was so bad.
Yeah.
Cool Tapes Volume 3, Jaden, what a mess. It's not even rap. Boss Man by Rich the Kid.
Oh my God, that was the worst one of the year. That was easily the worst one.
It's one of those albums you just like, I wish I could get that hour back of my life.
Oh my God, so bad.
Yeah. And then I'll mention 2 that were like disappointments, or 3 that were disappointments that could have been so much better. Or Run the Jewels 4, because Run the Jewels 2 and 3 were so good. Run the Jewels 4 is quite the disappointment. Blame It on Baby, because the Baby has potential. He is talented, but it just didn't live up to his prior works.
Yeah.
And then Pluto and Baby Pluto by Future and Lil Uzi Vert.
Oh God, that might have been worse than the Rich the Kid album. I'm sorry, that was bad.
I know. And I never thought Future was talented, but I thought like if it's like a fun collab album, he might shine. Because he does great with Drake, but it just, the combination with Lil Uzi Vert didn't seem to work. And we've already talked about how great Uzi's album was, so it's weird that that combination didn't work. And then I think 2 more things that I want to discuss before we wrap up this last episode: non-hip-hop albums and singles, or just individual songs. So non-rap albums, Yo Hago Lo Que Me Da La Gana, or YHLQMDLG. Bad Bunny, absolute masterpiece. Like, might be my favorite album period of the year. Just so good. Production wise, lyricism, sound, everything you could rate an album by, I think it was perfect. It is a Spanish album.
Why don't you call it a rap album?
It's reggaeton / trap, and I guess trap counts as hip hop.
Okay.
But when for example, if I were to talk about an Aleman album, he's a Mexican rapper, that's hip hop. Like, you listen to Aleman, that's rap. And then you compare that to Bad Bunny, dude, it's a totally different sound. I think Bad Bunny is way more in reggaeton and trap, and in here, and he dropped 2 other projects. He even touched upon, like, I don't know, some sort of rock genre he kind of touched into, which I thought was super dope. It shows that he's not afraid to experiment, and it still came out pretty great. So I can't sing enough praises for his album. And he was like top album of the year on Spotify, if I'm not mistaken, or top artist. After Hours by The Weeknd, we talked about that our first episode, hasn't lost any of its replayability. I think it sounds just as good as the first time you heard it. That album is, I think, just as good as Bad Bunny's, honestly. It's amazing. I don't know, pop R&B album. I guess he's a pop artist.
Pop.
Yeah.
That is a pop album. And I'll tell you one thing. It reminds me of the quality of production and the level of success and the artistry and how he's shaped himself as an artist and as a person. Obviously, you can draw comparisons to any of the great pop legends, you know what I mean? But most recently, I kind of draw it with a Justin Timberlake type, where Timberlake, when he had that streak with Timbaland, right?
Right.
He was putting out these songs. It's the sound is so unique.
Oh,
and he was
like defined the era almost. Yeah.
And dude, that's where I think The Weeknd with this album, he's headed for.
I totally agree with that. Almost like a modern day Justin. That's a good point. And the collaborations with rap artists,
really good.
So thankful for that. So appreciative for
Really
that.
good.
Manuel AA. We've talked about that one. Still love it.
Well,
Still think it. I still think it slaps. I like Nati Natasha's album. It might be her only album according to Spotify, but I thought it was good. Illuminati. Mala Santa by Becky G, just great reggaeton music. Dua Lipa's album, I think you'll agree, was pretty solid. Had some good tracks on it. Great pop album. Kehlani's It Was Good Until It Wasn't, we've touched upon. And then lastly, I'll just mention In Search of Lost Time by Protege. Dope reggae album. And then finally, last thing I have to say, songs that I can't get enough of, keep replaying. Holy Water by Jaron Benton. Whoa by Lil Baby. COVID Mansion by Hobson. Guess What by Russ and Rick Ross. Piano Trap by Lil Wayne. 25-8, Bad Bunny. Up the Smoke by Stunna for Vegas and Offset. Love that song. I don't know why I can't get enough of it. Said Some. Who Said Some by? Is that Moneybagg Yo?
Yeah, that was Moneybagg Yo.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, Said Some. Dope. Highest in the Room, Travis Scott. Had the remix with Rosalia. Thought it was sick. And lastly, I'll say Tag Team. It's a song by Egovert.
I just want to wrap up with this, right? I appreciate all that. That was awesome. You know, I'm glad you got to be able to listen to all that music, you know, this year. And I love, like I said, I'll go back to it. I love our top 10s. I love that. I just want to wrap up with just a 1 minute each of what we expect of the next year.
Okay.
And I'll start off by saying, you know, and we brought it up in the beginning, but I just want to reiterate, Kendrick, J. Cole, Drake. Those are the big ones. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Lil Baby continue his success. We saw the Baby fall off from 2019 to 2020. Do we see Lil Baby drop off from 2020 to 2021? That's another big thing for me.
It could happen.
The sophomore slump, you know.
Right.
It just happens, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I would love to see my biggest thing, right? Obviously, we get the new school. You know, what happens in the new school? My biggest thing for 2021 that I want to see happen is music reform in the rap industry. And I'll give you two platforms that need the biggest reform. Double XL Freshman needs to be broken down and built back up. The only way it's going to happen is if the people demand it. And then number two, the Grammys. Again, I think this is the year.
Really great points. Yeah.
Where if people made enough noise, you know, which, you know, that's been a common theme this in 2020, you know what I mean? Making enough noise to reform something. The Grammys need to change. It just needs to change. Someone has to stand up and say it, you know? I hope that's my expectation for 2021 beyond just releases in music. Like I said, I'm looking for the big three, but for me, I would love to just have there be a shift in recognition of what a great artist or what a great album is or what a great song is. That needs to change. It's my biggest gripe with music right now.
It's so essential to the culture. It's like bigger than music. It's like a matter of American culture, I want to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I was just reading about Korean culture because of Parasite winning the Oscars. And it's like there's so much that went into developing Korean culture. And I'm not just talking movies, I'm talking music, TV shows, all types of stuff when it comes to just media. And part of that is investing in these conventions and these award shows and international recognition and all this kind of stuff to really up it. And so you can't just make music. I mean, if you want it to get distributed properly, appreciated, get intertwined with other cultures and genres, you got to have that sort of recognition and have those platforms and that management. And this goes like beyond our areas of expertise, but I think it's fair to say that as consumers, we definitely know that Double XL and the Grammys, like you've said, they don't know what they're doing. Like we talked about this recently. What were the Grammys thinking with their nominations? I kind of see where they're coming from, but it's like, really?
I know things are going to be different. Look at our list. You know what I mean? Look at our list. That's a prime example. If you were to take the top 5 albums of your list and have those be the nominees for Rap Album of the Year, and then take the top 5 of my list, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to be different. But if some sort of, you know, because I would respect if your top 5 got, you know, nominated. It just needs, but if you compare both of our lists, actually none None of the Grammy nominees this year and ended up on our list.
Right.
That's sad. That is
really
sad.
Yeah, like nowhere near. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Double XL. I mean, I think the past 5 years of Double XL has just been misses. Like I think there's maybe 2 talented artists on each group. Well, let's look at 2020. They had NLE Choppa, Polo G, Chica, Baby Keem, Mulatto, Jack Harlow, Rod Wave, Lil TJ, Cowboy, Fabio Foreign, Lil Keed, and 24 Golden. I think Jack Harlow is probably the biggest. Polo G is up there too. NLE Choppa kind of fell off, sadly, like throughout like his last album. I might add that to like disappointing, albums list, or I would, sadly. I know you're a big fan of Fabio. I'm not as big a fan of him.
I love him.
I like 24 Golden, but he seems to have gone so pop. Like people know him for his like pop music. So he's
a pop artist. Again, he's a little Mosey,
He's a little Mosey, exactly. He's got dope freestyle.
He's not a rapper.
He's not a rapper, yeah.
God, I don't know how these guys are ending up on these lists. They're not rappers. Stop it.
At the end of the day, I think the only worthy picks are like Polo G, Mulatto, and Jack Harlow. In terms of ones that we want to hear more from.
For sure.
Cool.
All right, man. Well, this has been dope. Every one of our podcasts, better and better. This has been awesome. So I'm going to officially say that 2020 was legit for rap. And I had an awesome time listening to all the music. Can't wait for 2021. Can't wait to see what's new. I hope it only a continuation of what has already happened in the past year. I hope there's no fall off, The only fall off I want is the J. Cole album. That's
it. Well said. Oh man, if I got nothing but J. Cole album, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
As always, I want to hear from Jaron Benton and Snow the Product. Neither of them dropped albums this year. They still drop music. They drop singles that I think is phenomenal. It's like right up my alley. It's my type of hip hop music. But I don't know. I guess they don't feel prepared yet for a full project release. But when it comes, I'm sure I'll be satisfied.
Hell yeah. All right, man.
But yeah.
This is DJ Mayhem signing off. Radio Rap Reel. R3.
See Duran, man. It's been real. R3 Radio Rap Reel. I'm back for more.
2021. Let's go.